Hey, living in Boulder vlog, January 7th, 2020, Tuesday, 9:28 p.m. So, it was like later on today than I did the video because I guess I'm nocturnalized. I was working today until like 10 or something. I can't remember, or 8 or something, and then I got tired. Yeah, on Region 9, 7, I was working on 7, let's see, the big building. It's called the Portico of Constantine. And on the top of the hill, it starts at the bottom of the hill, and then on top of the hill, then you have the Temple of the Sun. I'm really high, and then I just had a beer. I had like an apple cider my roommate gave me for the last 2 nights in a row. He's been giving me these apple cider brewskis. It was good. But at the top of the hill is the boughs of Constantine, which look really pretty. I want to build those as soon as I'm done, but yeah, yesterday I was building that, and then I started building these other buildings, and somehow, yeah, the day got away from me. It's crazy. Sometimes day just gets away, and so this morning when I got up, I did the stairs of this building that I had to design because the guy, I can't remember this guy's name. Was it Piranesi? But yeah, the map on Google Earth. It's this building. Some of the buildings aren't complete, and this one wasn't complete. So I completed it myself, made it a two-storyer, and but I had to build in these stairs, and that's how I started today. Kind of takes a long time, but I don't know. Stairs, people probably think I'm crazy for spending so much time building stairs, but it just helps when there are these individual buildings. It helps describe how it's designed when you get on there, and you can get in ground level and go up it too that way. So yeah, somehow the time got away from me on that one, and even though there's only like 3 big buildings on the Region 7, I'm working on another one right now. Just putting in the floors. I love it when it's flat because I can put in the image floors, which makes it great from distance and when you're in close. But so I was working on that, but then all of a sudden, see, yesterday I was listening to this dude giving this course on ancient Rome from the University of Reading in Britain, and he had a website called futurelearn.com, where he made a map, I guess a model of ancient Rome. He spent 10 years on it, but it won't open on on my computer, so I should open it on my cell phone. I'm gonna do that as soon as I can. I'm just kind of pressured to finish this, and then I can do screencast and check it out on my big 70-inch TV. The model that he did, apparently you can scroll around, but that's why I think it's awesome that I'm building my model of Rome on Google Earth, because anybody can just get on there, and on Google Earth, everybody has Google Earth on computer. There's no like crazy hoops to jump through. But I was listening. I was listening to the thing, and he actually had uh, an extract of Pliny saying about the size of Rome, which I forgot about. I'd read Pliny a few times. 2,200-page Encyclopedia of Ancient Rome. It's on my website. And Pliny actually had an interesting life. He died in Mount Vesuvius. He was going to escape. He was the fleet commander down there, but he was only 55. But he wanted to return to do scientific measurements, and they found him a few days later, asphyxiated, laying there like he was asleep in the road. But then his son Pliny wrote the story of his death. That's how we know of his death. But he he was saying that on Rome that there's 37 gates in the time of Pliny, and that's basically the biggest that Rome ever got. Like if you wanted to be like, I guess, like, yeah, when was the not in terms of like the most like famous buildings, but in terms of just raw power of the Empire of Rome and the size of the city. You could say the Flavian, because that's when they built that was in the 70s AD, that Pliny died in 79. That's when they built the Colosseum, and that was just the height of Rome before any of the falls. And anyway, but he actually said how big it was then. So I'm gonna plug in the exact size of Rome, because he goes, yeah, there's 37 gates now, which I didn't know. I'm gonna plug in 37 gates, and they actually had a wall. You know, common knowledge is that they didn't have a wall, and then they built the Aurelian Wall because of barbarian incursions, and so that's how we know how big the Rome was and all that. But uh, Pliny was talking about a wall and 37 gates back in the Flavians, and so they had a wall. It just wasn't a huge defensive wall. It was more like just a wall, and for the purposes of policing people coming in and going from the city. And so yeah, I want to rebuild the Flavian Wall. That'd be awesome. So, but he said that there were 37 gates, but that there were 12 double gates. Major gates, where the roads apparently, because I read somewhere else, went directly to the center of Rome. I didn't make my Google Earth Rome where the roads went directly to the center of Rome. I think I saw some others where you can make it look like an actual wheel with spokes radiating it out. That'd be awesome. If I were to do my project again, I think I would do it that way because I think I saw some maps that were like that. A couple. I do that like that more. But I made my map based on modern roads so that you could go to Rome and work with the map that I made while you're on Rome. You couldn't do that if you had roads that didn't exist anymore in a different layout. It would ruin the actual experience. So I guess it's better the way that I did it, but it was beautiful. Apparently, yeah, they had, but I actually only read that from some guy, some Reddit. I didn't read it in direct knowledge, but yeah, but he was talking about 12 double gates that went to Rome, but he said that if you were to get a line, because they had maps and everything, they were good at geometry. If you were to get a line from the milestone, mile 0 of Rome, which is at the Roman Forum, it's an actual pillar that they had, and draw it out to the 12 gates directly, you would get 20 miles and 20 Roman miles and 20 paces, which is 20 Roman miles exactly, which is 18.4 English miles. And so what I did was I got the 12 gates that I saw, because I have the 18 gates of Rome, and I made the 12 major ones and took them out to that level to make it exact. And yeah, it made Rome from Aurelian walls a little bit bigger. It was basically not much bigger from the Aurelian Rome, A lot of people are like, oh, it was so much bigger than Aurelian, it was smaller. Well, not the actual official city gates. It was basically the Aurelian wall, but instead of when it juts in, you just jut it out, and then I took it out around the Vatican, which is cool. And because he actually said the circumference of the wall was, I think he said like 15 miles or whatever, 12.33 English miles. So that was just big enough to jut it out instead of in, and then take it around the St. Peter's, which is cool because they had the Circus of Nero there, because I can put that inside the wall. But yeah, so I made it exactly 12.22 miles around, and then to match all of the gates to make it 18.4 English miles, like what Pliny said. So I'm going to make the wall the Flavian Wall after I'm done with all this. So that's exciting, and it's not so much bigger than the Aurelian. But then the interesting part is you want to know how big the actual metropolitan Rome is, and he said how big it was. He said if you were to get those same lines and draw them out to the roads that those major gates go out to, because they extended out to the major roads, and they had their own roads that went out to other cities and stuff. And he also said that they met up with other cities. And there are other cities towards the east that if you take it out that as far as he said, they does make it just to those cities. I can't remember what they are, but the cities that were actually rival cities from the founding of Rome. So I took it out that far, and he said it was just over 70 Roman miles, which is 64.4 English miles. So I rounded up to 65 miles. And I traced it out. I just experimented, and I did the math, and I took it out to what it looked. So I did what looked sense to me, and it made it just to the cities on the right and down towards Ostia, and it made it to 65. And so yeah, I know the exact size of Rome. So now, when I'm done with all this, I can go in and create a street grid, and then make houses and make it and call that the size of Rome. So that was an exciting little detour that I made yesterday. So then I got tired, and then I got up and I was working on this, and so yeah, I think I can. I'm almost at 10 minutes. I'm gonna finish this for 10 minutes. I think I can finish Region 7 today, and then get going on Region 6 again, and then yeah, see what goes from there tomorrow. Hopefully, I'll be talking about Region 6. All right, talk to you later.